I do want to ask you about this interview because there's some comments in here that Jake made that are, well, not too polite to AEW or specifically Tony Khan. He had a line that said something like this: after all the punk shit that went down, the boys got together and we had a meeting. This was the boys only, no office. Sting's in there, Show, Jericho, Brian, Mox, and they're all standing at the front talking us through this shit. And lo and behold, who comes in the room storming in? Daddy's little billionaire. And he's yelling at us because I think it was Dax and Cash that didn't want to come in. They didn't like the storyline, so they refused to come to TV that day. And he was like, listen, I'll put you in a 6-man 6 minutes before the show, and you're going to do it. And we're all just all feeling disrespected. I still to this day wish I would have stood up and said a lot of things. You just told Sting that you're going to put him in a 6-man in 6 minutes, and then you're going to honor him for his retirement. We became his little playthings. We had to wait outside his office. His storylines were very good at debuting, but he could never carry anything through. It got to the point where you couldn't tell him anything. He couldn't take criticism. He was fucking up, and we were all just having to deal with it. We had blood, sweat, and tears into that company, and we were all there at the beginning. We all had our careers behind us that helped build that company. And then we all had to just sit side by side and couldn't do anything because he wanted to run it the way he wanted to run it. I mean, he even goes so far as to say, he says once a day, every day, Jim, fuck Tony Khan. And I'm like, what? Where is this coming from? I'll admit, I don't really know Jake Hager, but this feels like a really odd response. I mean, what do you make of this outburst here after the fact? I don't follow this.
Frustration. I think frustration. It shows you how much he loved doing what he did, because he became a fan. Excuse me, he became a fan. As I said, he wasn't born a fan, and I find that ironic considering he and Hodge are from the same hometown. But I'm glad I'm really excited for this opportunity for him. I'm excited to see how far he could carry the ball. You know, he's played football at OU. As I said, he was a defensive tackle. That's how he and Dusty Dvorak became so close. They're in the same room, so to speak. Both of them, and they both played a lot. Dusty was a star. Jake was not a star, but he was a very solid performer and played a lot. And at that time, OU was pretty competitive, unlike they are today. At least we'll find out soon enough what they got in the hope chest. So I got a lot of time for Jake Hager to the world. He's a smart kid. He got a business degree, and now he's using it.
Well, just so you know, both of the members of FTR took issue with this, and I think Cash actually screenshotted a text to Jake, and Jake said, "Oh, my bad. Maybe I misremembered that. Maybe it wasn't you." But yeah, Jake was on a tear, man. He even started to point out things like, I think everything changed after Cody left, because when he was involved with it, and after that, it just kind of became a free for all. Young Bucks and Kenny still had a say in what they were doing. Chris obviously has a big say in what he's doing. Even Chris, he would tell me that Tony would not respond to his messages for 2 weeks. It became to a point to where either AEW is important or it's not. It just seemed like it was not to him. They stopped doing production meetings and they stopped doing anything to make the show timely. We would be waiting around to 5 o'clock to find out what they were going to do that day. What live television show does that? Only one with money behind it. That's interesting, because didn't we hear, I mean, listen, you were in WWE for a long time. Weren't they making changes right up until the show was on the air pretty routinely for years and years?
AEW you're talking about.
I'm saying WWE. Didn't WWE do that for years and years? We know WCW did.
Forever.
Yeah, so that's not a new thing. I don't know. This feels like sour grapes a little bit from Jake.
I think you're right. I think he's frustrated.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it all out of the business that he would like to have at the end of the day. I miss him being on TVs and things like that. He just, you know, I grew up. He grew up with me, and we got along great. But sometimes when it doesn't end the way that one would like for it to, it's tough to deal with. You get frustrated, and it's a mind game at that point, because that son of a bitch had all the physical tools he needed to be a huge star. A athletic big man. He's 6'5". maybe 6'6". I'm not sure, but he's a good dude, and I'm glad he's doing well. At least I hope that he's going to do well. And that was good advice from Dutch. A lot of times when you listen to those old timers, they give you some words of wisdom, and maybe they don't even know they're doing it. But certainly Jake has maybe found his lot in life that's going to take care of his needs and his family and his own mental health. So it's quite the change from being on the road as a wrestler to running a trucking company and even driving one of your own rigs. So, but I can see him being successful at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody hopes that Jake finds success after wrestling, but I don't know, man. Some of this stuff about AEW, I think in an effort to try to dump on AEW, he comes off looking worse for doing this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I relaxed. You know, I can give you an example. I was in the announcer's locker room, and somebody came in and said, "Tony wants to see you." And so Tony Khan, not Tony Schiavone, but and he was changing. What do you want to do? And so we were at the 11th hour deciding what matches JR was going to do, and that can be unsettling. But I'm a veteran. I've been in that role before, so I didn't think much negatively of it. You know, I'm supposed to be able to call a match. I'm supposed to be able to call whatever you put me out there to do. I've always said, just put it on the goddamn monitor and I'll tell a story. Show me the pictures and I'll put the words to it, and hopefully come out whole on the other side. So, and we did that out in London. I was getting my match assignments right up until the show started. There was matches, and I still didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I assumed all along that I was going to do the main event. That was kind of what I was told. And then I did another. What other match did I do, Conrad? You remember?
I thought you did the world title match because those were the last two matches.
Okay. Well, it was. I didn't have any dogs. They were all good. There's good stuff to work for an announcer. Good stories are told, and I enjoyed that. I thought we had a good, solid show. I don't know. I didn't read because I was flying and all this and having access to Wi-Fi and all that other stuff. I had access to sleep, and that's what I did on the way back was sleep. JR was sleepy, but it was good. It was good. Dax helped me out a lot because my hip was just killing me. So if I needed a cup of coffee or some food from the hot bar at the Admiral's Club, I was in good shape. I had somebody help me out. It's just that my hip is just my sciatica. It's just miserable. I don't know if anybody out there understands what sciatica is, a sciatic nerve inflammation. But boy, even this morning, I got up early today because we started at a different time. The mistake I made was going and sitting down on the couch and falling back asleep. I'm just tired as hell. So I should have gone over a day earlier and come back at a later hour. And it's funny, you start learning how to travel, and the rules change the older one gets. You can't go at the same pace. So I consider my voyage a success. I got to see the talents, talk to talents, advise talents that had questions. So it was a fun trip for me, except for the effing travel. But that had nothing to do with Tony Khan or AEW. This has to do with the airlines. All I know is that I dozed off again on the airplane, and I realized, what the hell are we going to Rome for? Why am I on a plane to Rome? So it was a connection. It was a stopover, but it was a lot of miles and a lot of hours, and you just deal with it, man. It's part of the drill.
Do you want to go back? Are you done going to the UK? Will you return, or was that your last trip?
Well, I'm being realistic about it. I'd like to go back. I want to go back. Whether I am booked or not remains to be seen. It's not my call. But my experience was pleasant, except for an area that Tony Khan or AEW couldn't control, and that's the travel and mechanical issues and changing planes and all this other stuff. So it was, but I had, I had first class travel, and I'm not going to bitch about that. So I slept a lot. I know when I got home, when we finally got to Charlotte, I was wore out. It's funny how you get tired of doing nothing but sleeping or watching a movie or what have you. And so it's just one of those road trips, man. And you just deal with it. That's how I look at it. I can't fix it. I learned a long time ago, if you can't solve a problem, don't dwell on it. It just don't make any sense. So I hope I get to go back. I enjoy going to England. I don't dislike the food like a lot of guys do. I don't mind having pork and beans for breakfast, on those ugly ass sausages. So, but it was fun. I probably spent more quality time with the talents before, during, and after the event than I have in years, and that always is good for me. That's why I enjoyed those old timers being there, because they had questions and they had concerns and talking about how much the business has changed and so forth, but they had someone to listen to them that half-assed knew what he was listening to. So it was good stuff, man. I had a good time. Connections were fine once I got to States. Me going through customs was a piece of cake, because every custom agent knows who I got that black hat on, so I was recognizable, and they treated me nice. They knew I wasn't trying to confiscate something or sneak into the country, whatever. It was just a real positive, fun experience, and I'm glad that I was booked. That's a Tony Khan decision. I suggested to him, I said, you want me to work the O2? And he said, I'd love for you to, if you don't think the travel will kill you. I think he jinxed us. So it was a positive trip, excluding the talent issue, the travel issues. It was just wonderful. It even had some good food.
SaveWithConrad.com.
My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California. I came to Save with Conrad because I've heard Conrad talk about how he helps people all the time save money and the best route to go for getting some mortgages and finances done. And having heard so many different testimonials in the past, it made the most sense to go this route. We were in the market for a new house and we wanted to know what we could afford. So we spoke with Steve and then Diane to get through the pre-approval process to see what we could afford. And then once we were able to understand that aspect of it, that was when we were able to shop around for a house to get a mortgage through Save with Conrad. Everybody on the team was great. Everybody really explained everything fully to where it was more in like layman's terms to where I could understand it as someone not in the business or having shopped around for houses too many times. So being able to understand every step of the process and talking with everyone on the team about that was really, really helpful, and it made me feel really confident that I was going the right route. I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. I know that sometimes people look at it and they go, oh, they're based in Alabama, what could they help me with? But I'm out here in California and they were able to square everything away and get things done really quickly, as opposed to sometimes even people out here don't move as quickly as the Save with Conrad team. So everything was really well done, really efficient, and I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California, and I was able to get into my dream home with SaveWithConrad.com.
That's number 212, non-equal housing lender. SaveWithConrad.com.